All right. Twitch. Oh, no way. Okay. It says live on Instagram. There. Oh, shit. Okay.
Just check your framing on Instagram. You might want to
Oh,
if you
yeah.
can,
Right.
scoot back just a touch.
Yeah. Well, it's landscape,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
right?
Theoretically, I'd have to look at it on Instagram.
Okay, here. What do I need to do? Do I need to move? Hello, everyone. We are live with me and Joel. Let's see. YouTube's taking a minute still. Joel's my guy. All right.
Yep,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
landscape.
I need to put, can you see it on Instagram? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Is it landscape?
It is landscape. Indeed.
Okay, great. So I don't have to worry about this. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can watch from here.
Okay. Are we good to go?
I think you're good.
All right. Thanks. I'm going to end the Zoom, I think, for.
Yes.
Okay.
Good idea.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye.
luck. Have fun.
Thanks. All right, everybody. That was Joel. He's my guy. I think you've heard me talk about him before. He is my video editor extraordinaire. Welcome to Class with Kate, where I take you to school on all things restoring relationships. I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. Central. And there are different formats. We have a call-in situation. We have somebody today. Her name's Kay. And then other days, usually the day after I have a caller, I'll do a class on that caller situation, not on the person in particular, but on their situation. We need to kind of separate the person from identifying factors that other people might relate to. That's what we're talking about. Because this is not therapy. I don't know this person. This is a one-time call situation. It's like I'm sitting on a bus, beside them, and I'm a therapist, so we're talking about it, then they're on their way. So that's how this goes. So today and then other days we'll talk about different things. Like my goal is to just get as much free information out there as possible. And I have the opportunity now with my schedule to go live often. And so here we are. So today we have a caller named Kay. We're going to hear her situation and get into it. You guys are welcome to engage as much as you want in the chat. I have it up, and I'm going to honestly try not to look at it because I will literally feel like, I've said this before, I feel like a newborn on earth where I'm like, okay, where am I? What am I doing if I see something? And I guess it's not one track mind. I don't know about that. But anyway, I need to focus on Kay and what her situation is. So everybody, welcome to the show. This is going to be a regular thing. We're getting it popping. We're going live. I mean, literally, like, this is crazy. What's happening, what I'm able to do. Thank you all for listening. And again, please let me know anything you need in the chat. I'll answer it all tomorrow, but let's listen to Kay. I'm going to give her a call right now. So here we go. Let's buckle in. All righty. See, here we go. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be here. How are you feeling?
Good. Excited.
Good.
Probably a little nervous.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. Okay, well, no one can see you. We're just talking. I just want to be here and answer your questions and get you anything that you need that I can offer today. So what I want to do first is hear just a brief synopsis about what you're here to talk about. And then any questions you have, you can keep it as short or long as you want. And then we'll go from there.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so, well, the reason why I wanted to talk to you is I was really interested when you were talking a lot about this top-down versus a bottom-up approach when you're in relationships with adults. So, I guess specifically, I wanted to talk because I have been married with my husband we're coming up on 23 years now. And we've kind of been like in and out of couples therapy. I would say like this is the third time that we've done it is this time. And the last two previous times he exited out because he felt like we weren't getting any results. And we've been in this current couples therapy for just almost about 2 years now. And the model of the couples therapy is we're doing EFT, so emotionally focused therapy. And there has not been, I guess in the first year of the therapy, there was some movement. And in the last year of the therapy, there really hasn't been any movement at all.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess to kind of like, I'll back it up just a little bit. So for family background, for the majority of our marriage, I've been the stay-at-home parent. So we have two neurodiverse kids. They're teens now, and both of them are ADHD anxiety kids, but there's a couple additional elements. My older son was born as a preemie at 32 weeks, and my younger son, we adopted my younger son at birth, but there were a number, he had exposure issues. So like cocaine and alcohol. And then it was also like a domestic abuse situation. So he had a lot of pre-verbal trauma coming in. So they were, special kids. So that kind of, originally the plan was that once my youngest was getting to like that preschool age, that I would start like going back and starting to develop my career a bit. And unfortunately, he just had, especially him, had a lot of extenuating needs. So kind of had to revise that. At the same time, my husband's career was sort of like high level sales and sales management. So what that looked like was him being gone for large portions of time. So he would basically travel every other week for 3 to 4 days at a time. And we also had to move a fair bit. So kind of we moved between 3 different cities in the States. And so we didn't have any family or friend support kind of all through that. And there were, so there were numerous things. And I myself had a fair bit of like childhood trauma coming in, and so did he. It's probably what attracted us to each other in this dynamic. So long story short, I've done a lot of work. I went through doing really intensive like IFS work, like internal family systems work.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is really good and solid there. With my kids, when we moved to where we live now, we moved in the summer of 2020, and kind of that was like unfortunately it coincided with COVID, but that was sort of like our big final move that we decided, so we could be landed in one place for the kids
Good.
when they were going through. Yeah. So sort of like as they went through middle school and high school, we didn't want to move any longer.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then when we landed in 2020, we started working with a psychologist in a psychology group, and they were attachment based. So did that with the kids, and so did sort of family therapy with each of the kids. And it was mostly me that would be in session with my children, and then sometimes my husband, predominantly me. And then that's where we kind of started doing all of this work. And I worked with a psychologist in that same group for IFS. So long story short, myself and the kids have
set up.
Improved greatly.
Yeah.
It's night and day from kind of where we started.
Amazing.
6 years ago.
Good job.
And yeah, so that's great. And unfortunately for my husband, for the first sort of the thinking on the parts of the psychologist was maybe that he would be able to enter into possibly doing some of his own work if he came to it through like either family therapy with the kids, or he came to it through couples therapy with me. And that hasn't really panned out very well. So
in what way?
So I would say, for one, sort of his ability. So he's been doing his own kind of individual work. I would say on and off for the last 2 years at the same time, but it's super inconsistent.
Is that based
he has a really hard.
Is that based on his scheduling or like work, or
I think it's based on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's based on like he would loosely schedule it for biweekly, and then because of his work, he would miss frequently, and definitely on his end didn't have a real motivation to make sure that it was consistent. So it's really been hit or miss. There hasn't really been any consistency around it.
Mm-hmm.
We transitioned with my youngest son because the relationship between my youngest son and my husband is quite adversarial. Like it's quite unsafe emotionally on my younger son's part with my husband. So we had transitioned to my husband and him doing the like parent-child sessions, just the two of them for the last, I would say, 8 months. And there really hasn't been much of a shift at home in terms of that dynamic. So that's not really moving forward very much. And our couples therapist, because they all work within the same group.
Oh, okay.
Our couples therapist in October, kind of the end of October of this past year, had what I consider like a come to Jesus with us, where she came to my husband and I and said, look, like the work is not happening. Nothing's really moved in the last year. And to me, she was like, Kay, I'm really concerned and I need to intervene here because I'm afraid that if you stay in this dynamic.
With your husband?
With my husband. She's like, the dynamic that is between the two of you as a couple is toxic and it's not working. And I'm concerned that if you stay in this dynamic, Kay, you're going to, well, she actually said it's going to kill you. Like the stress of it is, so I've developed a number of autoimmune diseases over the years, of course, and I understand the link between all of this.
Sure.
And she was like, so you guys can't continue in this way. So
Wow.
At this point, you need to my suggestion is that you need space. You need, physical space if you want to continue working on the relationship, or we can move into working on co-parenting or working on something else. But this dynamic is really toxic. Um, so for me, that was really eye-opening. Um, and I think my husband and I both left there quite shocked and surprised. Um, for me, it was really eye-opening. I went to my individual therapist, and her response or question to me was, well, I haven't really seen as much about what you've been doing in the relationship or what your moves are or what which I really took to heart. And I was like, okay, I'm going to really try to turn away, look at myself, change what I'm doing, or try to take responsibility for myself and less trying to change him. And really kind of went into that work, right? Like also did a lot of work with my own therapist on those areas that were still sort of outstanding for me, that were making my fear and anxiety want to do that. And definitely recognizing, because I was very much in this role that you talk about of being the counselor, like the over explainer, and like going into like these long therapeutic, but having these, hour-long plus discussions, 3 to 4 times a week was where we were at, right? And at the end of it, my husband would say, okay, thank you for going through that with me. I appreciate it. And then that would be it, And so I was like, so kind of definitely worked with my own therapist to work on that last missing piece that was activated for me, which was really this, for me, and you talk a lot, I know I'm jumping a little bit, but you talk a lot about this power dynamic, right? So I had worked through the stuff that had to do with like being lovable, like self-love, being enough in that way. But a part that was still outstanding for me was in that self-efficacy part, right? Like that, and so I had this underlying belief that I couldn't provide for myself, that I couldn't take care of myself outside of the relationship, like financially, like be able to be okay in that respect, right? And so worked through that piece, and we did all the IFS EMDR stuff, and like really actually were able to close it up.
Okay. So let me hear what you've said. That in the span of time since you've been married and have kids, you've faced your childhood trauma with intensive therapy work. I mean, IFS is no joke. EMDR is no joke. You've also taken your kids to get clinical support. You've created a structure of education and support. I mean, at a clinical level, it sounds like where there's understanding, you've done the internal work in every area. And what I'm hearing you say too is like, even to the point of bringing it external too, where you've stopped over functioning in these 3 to 4 times a week therapy sessions that you're not getting paid for. And also to the point of like considering physically separating and facing your own, I don't know, self-worth or ability to provide for yourself. So you're even at that point. Okay. So you've done all of that. And so where are you now?
So where we are now is we had said with our therapist in October, because it was end of October, that we would look at taking this physical space in January, like this month in the new year, because we didn't want to do it over the holidays and whatever. So for me in that period of time, I kind of doubled down. I was like, okay, I need to figure out the rest of my stuff that's going on, that's keeping my fear and keeping me feeling like I'm powerless and I'm trapped in this relationship. So I need to sort that out myself and try to really show up, in EFT, right? So I'd come in and I'd be like doing all the things, like I'm regulating myself, helping my husband to co-regulate, going through and recognizing and, doing all the things that you have to do in there. And by the time we get to January, like right before, because again, we had this gap with our couples therapist. And I kind of viewed as my job, because I've been defined as, the anxious pursuer,
Ooh.
was to not go, like to not be pushing my husband, right? Like not be going into him and being like, hey, are you doing whatever? Are you doing whatever? So this is what I think I'm supposed to do, which is why I find your work really interesting. So, we get to literally this session on December 30th, where he's supposed to be moving out in the next couple weeks, and he's not having the conversations. He's not bringing it forward. Nothing has happened. And we get to this, and his kind of response is, well, when she sort of asks the question, the therapist, of like, why have you not talked or brought this
Hello?
forward? He goes, well, because it wasn't happening until January, which is pretty much
Okay.
completely on brand for him, right?
Okay.
So now, cutting to the chase, when we brought it up on the 30th at the end of December, because we hadn't brought it forward up to that point, our therapist had basically assumed that it wasn't happening.
Okay.
And and then at that point, now so then we had to have a discussion, her and I, because my primary goal above everything else is the safety and emotional
Sure.
well-being of our kids.
Sure.
So unfortunately, their therapist is going on mat leave for 3 months.
Perfect.
So she is scheduled to be back mid-April.
Okay. So
And so now to mid-April,
okay.
physical space is on pause, right? Because the idea is that it's hard for the kids to get support during that time period. Like right now, if their main therapist is not available, which, I
Okay.
can understand.
Okay.
But my question is, how do I
What do I do?
move between now and mid-April? So what I have realized and taken from what I've, seen you bringing forward, and I
Mhm.
brought to our couples therapist, is that this experience of, in October, her sort of putting out this, come to Jesus, you guys are going to get separated, you can't be together. For me, I was like, okay, in order for me to feel okay about maybe exiting this relationship or whatever, I need to do whatever I need to do to feel like I did my best.
Okay.
So that involved a lot of increased vulnerability, whatever, all these things on my
Okay.
part.
Okay.
He did nothing,
Right. Okay.
didn't change at all.
I need to.
So my nervous system is not great.
So your question is, what do I do between now and April?
Yeah. So
let me ask you this. Are you guys physically intimate?
no,
Good. Okay.
No.
Great. Check. What are you doing for him? Do you cook his food? Are you doing his laundry? Okay, let's check off the physical things first. What about those things?
so all of that stuff is still happening. Like
Okay.
come January 1st, I said I needed to sleep separately. Like I had
Great.
to need to actually be in a separate bedroom because I was finding
Good. Okay.
I couldn't fall asleep at night beside him. Like
Good.
it felt that
You're listening to yourself and taking space. Okay. But all
So-
those other day-to-day tasks are happening still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I
is he
think
still
probably.
okay? Because here's the question:
Yeah,
is he
go ahead.
still living in this delusion that like nothing's gonna happen, everything's okay?
No, so I think that this is part of the problem, because it's not kind of what you talked about for sure. Like we do this Groundhog Day thing where he will say, this isn't okay. what I'm doing isn't okay. I'm disrespecting you, or like, this isn't like how I'm supposed to behave. I know that this isn't right. I'm really sorry. You deserve more. But then the behavior doesn't change, right? So the words are kind of on wash, rinse, repeat.
Okay.
And then nothing changes. So kind of the first year that we were in
Well,
EFT
hold on a second.
was,
Let me ask you,
sorry.
what do you say when he says that? When he says, I'm sorry?
I say at this point, kind of really over the past.
I don't care. I don't care what you have to say.
I say your words
mean nothing. I don't
like,
care.
this
Take it
doesn't
to the
mean
bank.
anything because nothing ever happens with it.
Right. Then what?
So
how long are you engaging in this also?
I've gotten better at being a lot shorter.
Good.
Yeah, I've gotten better at being a lot shorter.
All right.
For sure.
Okay. So, you've gotten better at being a lot shorter. When you look at my content and I talk about a top-down approach, and even yesterday, I don't know if you saw what I posted yesterday about almost being authoritarian.
I did.
About it.
Right.
What happens in your mind? Because again, this is not to say this is going to work and change him. That's not the point. Okay.
Right.
The point is the energy you are spending. It sounds like it's been like at a level 1000. And now we're down to what? Out of 100, what would you say now?
I think it's still probably over 100, but it's less.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. It's changing.
I think it's changing.
Okay.
I struggle. I think my main concern is because he has no ability to self-regulate.
Right.
And he's at a point in his therapeutic work where he can say from self, like he can say, I don't know, from some part, I'm 4 years old, like in terms of his emotional maturity. So at least he has an idea of that.
Okay.
The issue that happens is that at this point now, every other member in the household is more emotionally mature than he is.
Right.
And where I guess I struggle with the authoritarian is he gets the defensiveness and that fighter comes out so fast that I think at the end of the day, I worry about the emotional well-being of my kids that's created when this happens in this environment.
So,
I'm not sure how to move through that.
Okay, so when he becomes dysregulated, I mean, am I hearing you say that everyone is already walking on eggshells?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like in a way for sure.
Are you scared physically?
No.
So he's not physical. He doesn't hit things. He doesn't follow you around the house. He's not dangerous in the car when y'all are in it. Like, No,
he's not dangerous in the car. He won't follow me around because he's much more likely to, like, he'll exit rather than following.
Does he get threatening? Like, does he get, we're talking about this relationship with your younger son. Does he assert his power over your son? Does he get physically intimidating? Does he get in his face? Are there any signs for you that things could get physical?
I find, I'll parse it down a little bit. He doesn't get physical with me or put any kind of hand on me. He can get physical with objects over time, but this has lessened in its frequency. So for example, like he would you know, throw his cell phone on the ground, or he would like, you know, smack a table, or he would, I say what's more frequently now is if he gets really dysregulated, he will actually, he'll actually like hit himself in the face. Like when he,
Okay. Does the therapist know
because,
this?
yeah, so we've talked about this.
Like that this
Um,
is
he, with my youngest son, because my youngest son, um, you know, would often go into like fight or flight, and he's a fighter because he has that oversensitized nervous system because of his trauma and stuff in the home environment. Sometimes, very infrequently, but sometimes my husband would feel the need that he would need to do like a restrain or like like a movement, but then
okay.
he would be overly like too. So I try to always be present
Okay.
for that.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I would say,
Here's another question. What do your teenagers think? I mean, they're teenagers at this point, you said. What do they want to do?
so my youngest, um, my youngest feels like his dad doesn't trust him, probably
Well, I mean, what
like
is
him.
right, right. So he's
You
already
know,
emotionally unsafe. So when it comes to a
yeah.
physical separation, what do they want? What do they think? I mean, they're
Well, we haven't.
teenagers, right? They're not little kids where, you know, they're
So we haven't
teenagers.
had that conversation with them yet.
Okay. Do you find it hard to separate what you need to do with your husband versus like do you think he's gonna in retaliation to you do something to the kids?
Um, in terms of what?
Like if you stand
Like,
up to him, you say you're not going to talk to me like that, you're not going to walk away, like we're going to have this discussion, and he retaliates and kind of displaces that towards the kids. Are you worried about that?
no, I would say no. Well, when he gets dysregulated, he pretty much acts exactly like a 4-year-old. So, you know, if he's overwhelmed and dysregulated, then sure, he might snap at one of the kids. Or
Okay.
if I come to him and so where he would involve the kids would be, which he does especially with my oldest son, because my oldest son is easier for my husband, I guess. He will pull him into the triangle and get my older son to align with him. So, for example,
Okay.
like
So
if
he
yeah,
triangulates
like
your
that
kids.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
He does.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. So yeah, this sounds very toxic for everybody involved. And you're telling me that that you're planning on physically separating in April, but the kids don't know that. They have no say. And even though they're going to be surprised in April when their therapist comes back and then you have this conversation?
I mean, that's the way, I guess, in the terms, and this is like getting that clarity, right?
Yeah. We're just talking this through, right? Like we're just talking this through.
Yeah, no, like I think now I'm shifting more to, I don't know, like there's this one small part of me that's like, okay, well, maybe if he can make some behavioral change in the next 3 months, then maybe we don't have to do a separation.
That's not going to happen.
Which is pretty much where I am. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I bet for you probably feel so powerless and like you have to wait some more. Like you've been waiting 23 years and now you're at the like finish line, so to speak, and you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of April, you know, but you're in this waiting period. And I wonder if that doesn't have to be true. Okay. Because one, you know, we need to talk about, it's always important to talk about the physical safety and making sure you're always gauging that. Number 2, emotional safety for the kids, for sure. Obviously, that's number 2. if not number one. I mean, they're one and the same
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So how often is he getting into it with your youngest? And then, or triangulating the oldest?
I would say my youngest and him, it's probably once or twice a week, and it's that infrequent because my husband has kind of gone into this space where he doesn't hold boundaries with my youngest, and he doesn't make my youngest like try to parent my youngest in a way to get him to do his undesired activities or anything that would make my youngest push back, because my husband knows that then he goes off and then it becomes a really big problem.
Okay.
So then he kind of just sidesteps it.
So my other question, what's coming up in my mind is, have you spoken with a lawyer? If you're planning on physically separating, so you've done this with a couples therapist, have you spoken with a lawyer to get the facts of your power in this situation? What if you were to, in the future, legally separate, legally divorce, to make sure you're doing things now that would protect you also? Have you done that yet?
No.
Okay. That's just data information. A lot of times
Yeah.
what can be therapeutically healthy for a relationship can, if that happens in the future, like look bad or be contradictory to, a lot of times therapeutic needs can clash with legal, financial, those needs. So just throwing that out there as well, because I'm obviously hearing that you're not necessarily at that point, and it would be good to get that information so you have it in your mind, because it sounds like when you say that you're at the point here, I mean, you're calling in, we're talking about a top-down approach. We're talking about finding your agency here and your power here. More information is power. That's going to help you determine what moves feel safe in that, like for yourself, big picture also.
Right.
I saw you kind of like not perk up, but like your ear perked up about when I said, about your teenagers and in April, and how, well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you're going to follow through in April? Because here's the deal. Even if he makes these changes in the next 3 months, we don't know if it's real. We don't know if it's going to stick. We cannot bank your life, your emotional and physical safety, and your kids' emotional and physical safety on the last 2 seconds in overtime. You know what I mean?
Right.
23 years. That's this 3-month period. That's what we're talking about,
Right. Right.
And so the goal is like moving forward in a pro kids way. You got to do that independent of him anyway.
Right.
So if the answer is like in April, this was the advice I got from the therapist, to wait until April. I'm still gonna, you can still be a support for your kids, right? Like, y'all have a relationship where they would be able to talk with you about this?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't doubt that. So, I mean, how old are they? Are we talking, teenager, like 10 and 12?
So they're
or are we like 11 and
no,
15?
they're going to be, they're turning 14 and 17 in the next couple months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and that being said, even because my psychologist is the same one that works with the kids, like she's confidently said, okay, look, like you're secure in every relationship except for this one with your husband.
Okay.
Right? Like this is the one that's the outlier. So kids and I are good.
Okay. Kids and you are good. And so it sounds like too, if they needed something in these next couple months, they would have you and the psychologist too, right? Even though they wouldn't have their
psychologist, because
right.
she's
they don't
on
have
MAP.
theirs, but they can come with you to yours. Like
we're the same. Our the psychologist that we see does like family systems. So Myself
Oh, got
and the
it.
2 kids are with the same
Got it.
psychologist.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh so ultimately what's your question? Like I know it's hard to boil it down to one, but and I
so
know you have a meeting soon and everything. So I want to answer
yeah,
your
no
question.
worries.
Yeah.
Ultimately, my question is to do this top-down approach.
Mhm.
And I've already put like for safety for myself, what I've done thus far,
Yeah.
because I know nervous system, I don't feel emotionally safe. I've done separate rooms, separate sleeping. I've mandated that he needs to do once a week therapy and
Okay.
send me the appointments and have that scheduled. How do I do an authoritarian kind of top down where I'm taking away the other things? Like, let's say I stop doing his laundry, or
That's a
I
given.
don't cook meals for him, or I don't do whatever. Is how do I do that? One, to deal with like his reactivity around it, but two, how do I have, and maybe this is why my ears perked up with your your
Mhm.
question about April.
Mhm.
Like, my kids are obviously going to notice if like I stop, in their minds or in
Pacifying.
everybody's minds, and definitely my husband's mind, being kind or being like,
They're probably going to be like,
a
thank
family member to
God.
him.
Thank God. They're probably going to be like that. Like, oh my God, I've been waiting for an adult to stand up to this situation. Like, respect, kindness, that's not always appropriate and adaptive, Like, they're 2 boys too. They're probably going to be like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to, something's happening. And what I'm hearing you say ultimately is that you're not physically afraid and he's not physically abusive. That's what I'm also hearing.
No, he's not. It's all sort of.
So if you're saying okay, so I posted about top down approach stuff. And I've posted these to my stories, what women who have done this say. And they say, I have been treating him like a child. He's 4 years old internally. Okay. But out on the outside, by the rules of the world, he has a driver's license. He's not 4 years old. Nobody's recognizing him as a 4-year-old except sounds like you. And it sounds like maybe the therapist. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she calls him out. I don't know. But he's also a grown man. Like this inner child, or it's just not your his inner child is his to tend to, not yours to tend to. Your job is
Right.
your inner child and your children. So like, where is so this like top down authoritarian thing is just like, okay, what if he gets upset? Okay, you can get upset and not be around us because you feel upset and you also behave in this way. That is absolutely not acceptable in our house. This is my house. You will not do this. I mean, this is like just basic. We're not dealing with a normal, reasonable person that can self-reflect, that's self-motivated. We're not dealing with that. And I think framing it in the way too of him being a 4-year-old, it kind of enables our like kindness and respect, but that's also enabling. Like, we need to treat the grown-ass man. So the comments that I was going to bring up are, oh my gosh, I realized when I kept treating them like a child, they still acted like a child.
Right.
When I treat them like an adult, they act like an adult.
Right.
And it's different with your teenagers. And you have to be able to separate treating your teenage boys, you with your teenage boys, they're 17 and 14. They know by now also how to act and speak, but you're also still treating them so differently than you treat your husband. You need to treat your husband. This is absolutely unacceptable behavior. Absolutely unacceptable. And you don't have to care about his insides. That's not your business. You don't even have to be open to feedback because he's not a trustworthy adult. Like yes, he's an adult, but he's not a trustworthy adult. So this inner authoritarian is kind of like, we have to have this part of us that doesn't deal with shit no matter what. And no matter how it looks, no matter how they take it, it doesn't matter. This is absolutely unacceptable. And I did a video yesterday that was like, you sound like a very authoritative parent. Like you have boundaries around your kids and you understand where they're coming from. You're bottom up with them. Like that's why you'll have a great relationship. You have to be with adults in your life, authoritarian. Like they get no access emotionally. Don't you feel kind of like, how do you feel doing his laundry? Like folding his little underwears?
I mean, I think
you know what I mean?
I know. I think what's been really confusing and why I really wanted to talk and to meet, because I know you're familiar with this. It's been really hard because we've been in emotionally focused therapy. Like we've been doing EFT, which is all about, okay, you have to, and so I'm sitting here going, but I don't think that this can actually work in this situation.
Okay. And that's
right.
So, so I do this call and then the next day I talk about things that I heard in the call that I want to educate people on. And a question I've gotten recently is, why do therapists enable this? Why are all therapists encouraging this bottom-up approach with partners that are toxic outside of therapy? And that's what you're saying. It makes so much sense that you're having this cognitive dissonance of like, okay, you're telling me this. All these women are also saying this works. But in a therapeutic setting, the professionals are telling me otherwise. And I've been doing this, So that's a fair question. I mean, that's fair. And I think you should even take that to your psychologist where it's like, you guys have a blind spot here because they do and they don't, because in October they're saying this this isn't working. I don't know. I mean, I understand your frustration.
Well, and I think that's why I really wanted to talk today because, like, as you know, for someone who, because I came up, you've got generational trauma.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trauma, confusion in self, confusion to others, right? So it's like, then when you go and you're trying to work with a couples therapist and you're saying, and they're saying, okay, be emotionally focused. You want to tune and create emotional safety for the other person. I look at it and I go, okay, well, you're the expert.
Totally. You're so right.
You're telling me that I need to orient to him. I need to orient to his experience, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand the theory. But then what happens is then it's creating, because he's not able to do the self-work, he can't regulate, have the self-work knowledge. It's only one of us doing that work. So I'm coming to him, recognizing his experience, trying to validate, create safety.
Yep.
But he is unable to reciprocate. There's no capacity there. So at what point am I going to the therapist and saying, hey, like, are we pivoting? Are we putting a pin in this?
Yeah.
Because this model doesn't seem like it can work with someone who has such arrested emotional development.
Totally. I'm with everything you're saying. I mean, everything you're saying is why I came online.
Right.
Honestly, because you're so right that it's like our field lacks in that. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have told me the same thing. Every day I'm like, what the hell? So you're right about that. And it would make sense that after this conversation, you have to sit with this. And I want to encourage you, kind of how we'll wrap up here is, you are the authority in your life. I want you to leave this conversation being like, okay, I'm going to take what I like and leave the rest of it. Like, this part of it resonated with me. This part of it didn't, like that. Even though I'm familiar with your situation and I talk about it, that ultimately you know what it's like to wake up as you every day. You know what's best for yourself. And you ultimately, I've said this to people too, is like, I wish I could be with you in your home even, like supporting you. That's because a lot of times that's how these things happen. And so all to say is that there's not that, this isn't that situation. And so leaving this call, like, I don't know. I hope that can be empowering. It's not like that it's up to you, but it is up to you. And you seem like you understand. You seem like you have the parts to do what you need to do.
Well, I thank you very much for this call, because it's given me the clarity. What I was struggling with was just getting the clarity that this model and this way we're going about it is not effective. Like, it is not, it's not accessible to us.
It's incomplete
right now. So it needs to be right.
I think you're right. I
think
that's right.
Set it down.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And maybe he does some of his own work, or he doesn't, but I operate with what is now, and doing this model of trying to be like, that's not something accessible to him now. So it needs to shift. Okay.
You're a badass. I'm like feeling this energy right now. This is good. This is good stuff. Yeah. Well,
no, that's very helpful.
Don't be surprised if you see me go ballistic online in the coming days about EFT. And
yeah. I mean, I just think, if you're 2 years into EFT as a couple, but your spouse, most likely probably the husband, is still chronically defensive, not doing their work and not showing up, they don't have the capacity to do it. So it's not the right model. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Well,
okay.
Great speaking with you, Kay. Thank you for your insight and your story. And I think you got it, though. I think you got it.
Yeah.
You seem very clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll be in touch.
Thanks.
Okay. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye. God bless her, man. She is so wise, strong, smart. Like every woman I've ever freaking met. Oh, man. Okay. That was our show today. That was a great call. I'm going to come back on here tomorrow and talk more about, I'm going to let things sit for a little bit. And I'm going to come here tomorrow and we're going to go over some things we can take away from this. And make sure to like, subscribe, all that shit. Okay. Then you'll get notified when I stream. Then so you won't forget. If you go online to codependencykate.com, you can subscribe for other things I'm doing. Like I did a class in November that I'm editing so that you can buy it. It'll be $20, but people have referenced my class on defensiveness and my series on defensiveness. And I talk about a lot of the same stuff there. So anyway, if you want to get kind of minimal notifications, but access to information of when more resources are available, subscribe. Also, anytime between now and tomorrow, leave comments in the chat. Leave it all up in there. And I will obviously sit with all of this too and try to answer them as best I can tomorrow. So thanks everybody for listening. Stay studious. We're staying students of our lives. We're staying students of ourselves. What I loved about Kay just then was she recognized the inadequacy of a therapy model. I mean, the type of point of view you have to say that securely is amazing. So we're observing. We are the expert of our own lives. We are the authority of our own lives, and we're going to take what we like, leave the rest. And I'll see you tomorrow.